Hi and welcome to my playhouse. And today it's a sad day, or maybe it's not a sad day, I don't know, but today we're gonna say goodbye to an old friend of ours, or at least to me. Down here in this rack outside of view, down there is an oldie. Well, it's not really that old, but it's, well, it is kind of an old server. It's an old IBM 3950 and it's the X3. It's IBM's old X series of servers, where these are the x3650s, and they have used kind of like Intel's chipset, where they have their own X series in which they have used their own chipset, and they have had X series along the way coming up, and they have been able to do some things in their own chipset that you wouldn't see in Intel's chipset, like having more RAMs and doing other stuff that you didn't see in the Intel. But it is an old server, and I've been using this server as a student server at work. When we got a new student, I would give them access to this server and they could play around. It's a 4 CPU machine, each of them with dual core, a total of 8 core, and it has hyper threading, so a total of 16 threads. It has 32 gigs of RAM. We have had a look at this before in more than one video, but now I want to take it out of here to make room for some storage. I'll say goodbye to this server today. I do believe that I want to sell it right away, because I'm really running out of space to store things in here. So it's a big problem, I know. I have so much awesome equipment that I'm just running out of space to store it, so kind of irritating. But let's get this out of the rack and let's have a last look at it before we put it up for sale. And no, I'm not gonna be shipping this anywhere. Here we are around the back, and I can see that I have unplugged power to it, so I'm just gonna make sure the power leads are not in the way when you try to pull this out. They have like a fastening system here, so they don't get, also they do get tangled. And we're gonna pull the management cable out and the network cable out, and it should be free to go out now. This is really a 2-3 person server. 3-person server. Oh, it's that system. Okay, here are the rails from the side, and to release this server from the rails, there's a blue thing here that you press up, and you slide the server out a little bit further, and it will be released from some, you can kind of see the drawing here. There are some pokey things that is sticking up, and they locks the server into place, and well, from there it just becomes heavy as hell. The server is 32 kilograms, so I'm not gonna be juggling it around too much. So if anyone is wondering how to get hurt as a server specialist, this is probably how. Oh yeah. So I carried this old beast outside. It has become a bit dusty, so I should really get the air compressor. I'm just a bit too lazy, so the car brush will have to do. Yeah, on the front of it, it has room for 6 drives. I have 5 drives in it. They're all 73.4 gigabyte drives, 10,000 RPMs, seems. And it has a CD-ROM drive. It has a little pop-out diagnostics panel here, that one, to show you if there is anything wrong with the server, which is always nice. Not if there is anything wrong with it, that's not as nice, but well, it's nice that it has that. It doesn't go in very well. You pop the cover open with the little handle up here and take that off, And as always, there's a lot of good explanation on the cover of how to do different stuff, which is nice. And when you get in here, well, you can kind of get this cable to do what you want it to. So not the best design for the cabling here. It has a really stupid bend right there, I don't think. Maybe that's not part of the plan. And then when it comes in, okay, this time it worked. Never mind. There is nothing wrong with this server. It's really well built. Like hot pluggable fans here. They have seen a little bit of dust. Not much, but still. I got a comment on my water cooling system, the first video that I did, regarding having two fan blowers serial like this. And I kind of replied that this is pretty normal in servers, that you have two fans and they kind of help each other, plus they are able to be in a redundant solution when they're behind each other like this. And if you open up high-end enterprise servers, you will very often see server fans in series and behind each other. It's more like a jet engine. It's better able to push the air through. They kind of help each other push more air through, because when this fan has sucked in some air and delivers it on the other side, this fan will remove it again. They are kind of helping each other in that regard. I did compare it to how a jet engine works, like having multiple fans working on the same airflow. These are bigger. Those over here are a little bit smaller fans. I don't have the exact millimeters of the fans, and I don't think it really matters. Then here are the disk drives, and they're connected with this cable here, and I think this is a kind of a, this looks very much like SATA, but I'm sure it's not. It's a SAS. Yeah, these are SAS drives, so it's probably not a SCSI connector, it's probably a SAS connector. But they didn't use that for long. The next generation of servers had other cables than this, and we've seen those multiple times. Here in the middle we have the RAM. There are 4 banks for RAM. You pull those up by 2 handles here, and they have, there are, what are they? They're 2 GB RAM slots in here, so 8 GB in each of them. 8, 16, 24, 32. So that adds up. For the RAM, 2 very big power supplies. They are actually also hot pluggable, which is really, it's a really weird system. I actually got a new power supply for this server not long ago. We did a video on exchanging the power supply. I have written on this that this was new. It was a new used one. I probably paid more for that power. I forget how much I paid for the power supply, but well, it made a good video exchanging the power supply. For now, selling the server, it's probably a bad deal, but you get the power supplies out like this, so you can actually pull the server out from the rack, exchange a power supply. You have the plug down here, which means that when you put in the power supply, it plugs into that, kind of like this, and it's connected, which is rather cool. Then there is expansion ports over here, and they are hot pluggable as well. Every one of these expansion ports has this red thing, orange thing, and everything orange in the server means that it's hot pluggable. It's not very widely used to have hot pluggable expander cards, and these are a bit special. It's the older ones. These are the PCI X slots down here, 6 slots in here, and they're all 64 bits, 3.3 volts, PCI X 2.0 slots. They might be easier to make hot pluggable, but there's a little circuit that sits right here that detects if I was to remove this card, which is not there, and I remove this, I do this to remove it, there's a little switch down here that tells, oh, he just opened this, I'm gonna down this card, it's not gonna be available anymore. So that's how they do that. They can tell the system this card is about to be removed, take it out of production before we heard anything. Probably kill all the power to it or something so that it doesn't get hurt. So it's a really smart system. I would always shut the server down if that's possible, because I just don't. It's nice that you can do it. I don't trust it enough. I would be afraid that the whole server would crash. It's only a matter of trust. I don't think it's where I would want to go. In the middle of the server here we have some of the I/O or maintenance of the server. We can kind of see that it's a big adapter, so we have a lot of connections here for the outside of the server. We have a management serial connection, we have a serial connection, we have a VGA port to USB, and a management port for the RSA2 adapter, which is sitting right here. This is an entire little power PC that is sitting on top of this whole board, which this whole board is kind of a controller board. It has the monitor and it has the rate controller and probably some more stuff that I'm not really aware of right now, and probably some more stuff. Oh, there is also a little thingy down here with a couple of digits that will give you an error code if there's something wrong with the system. Funny enough, this is 2 PCX lanes, and oh, we have a video driver here. I recognize this weird chip where there is kind of 2 chips on a chip. It's an ATI Radeon card that is mounted on the system here. So, well, this is it's not very, you would have to remove all the cables for this to be really smart to show. So I'm gonna pop it back down. I haven't really seen the CPUs yet. That's because the CPUs are located here in the front of the server, and they are kind of in here behind. It's kind of a shell that you pull out. I did a whole video where I had this out, and we had the CPUs out and put on new heat compound for the CPUs and had a really good look at that. I'll link to that video at the end, but you can kind of see the 4 CPUs in here, sitting in there, waiting for something to do. There is a couple of power regulators right there to make the power for the CPUs. So awesome. And a bit of dust. So I've had this server for many years now. I think I must have had it for five years or something. And before that, it was in production. And I think that 5-6 different students has been installing ESXi 5.0, 5.5, 6.0, and I don't think it was able to do 6.5 because the CPUs in this server has become obsolete. They're too old for the things that I want to play with now. So that's also why I think I want to retire this server and send it on to someone else that will probably play with it. So I'll now go get my camera and I'll take some pictures and I'll put it up for sale. All of this to make space for the new stuff in the data center, which I will be putting in one of the next videos. So just a quick reminder here at the end for my patrons to go check out the Patreon contents that I make for you. I see that not as many of you are watching those videos as I would have liked to. Do check them out. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.